Welcome to another edition of No Veteran Left Behind USA's Warrior Wisdom and Wellness. Now here's your host, Diane Young.
Hello everybody, I'm Diane Young, the host for our podcast today, Warrior Wisdom and Wellness. I'm really excited to introduce you to Susan, who I have the pleasure of interacting with at many different veteran resource fairs and suicide prevention events. And I don't want to steal her thunder, so I'm going to let her introduce herself to you real quick and get this podcast started because she's got a lot of really great information to share with you. So welcome, Susan. I'm glad that this fit in your schedule today, or you made it fit in your schedule, and that you're here to share with us about the programs that you're involved in that can be so helpful.
Thank you. I appreciate it, Diane. I want to thank you for the offer to be here today so I can share this information. As she said, my name is Susan Smykal. I am with the Captain John D. Mason Veteran Peer Outreach Program, which is out of the Medical College of Wisconsin. And our program, we employ veteran peer specialists, and we go out into the community to different outreach events, and we look for those veterans who are not connected with the VA, and we encourage them and assist them in connecting with the VA or with other community resources. We do know that of the veterans who die by suicide, 70% are not connected to the VA. So we go to as many outreach events as we are able to. We not only go to veteran-centered events, but we also go to plenty of non-veteran-centered events, such as the state fair or county fairs, to look for those veterans who maybe don't see themselves as veterans, but they are, and look to encourage them to get connected as well.
That's really important. I appreciate you all doing that. I know there's a lot of veterans that don't necessarily trust the VA because of stories they've heard of in the past, and I've heard that the Milwaukee VA in particular has earned some major award, particularly for their emergency room, where I think a lot of times veterans will end up when they're really in crisis. So I've had that privilege of going to the Milwaukee VA ER, and I would say give them another chance. If you haven't been to the VA lately, things have definitely changed. I hear a lot of stories from the VA about how they're using the feedback from their patients so that they can improve. And I personally had a good experience at the Milwaukee VA ER, and I fortunately got there when they weren't too busy, but I found them to be really good. So definitely give them another chance so veterans can get the benefits that they need and the care that they need. And you were talking about this Captain John D. Mason program. Can you share a little bit more about what that is specifically?
Absolutely. And I just also want to touch base on what you said about the ER and the VA. And I do want to say that in the last 5 years, they have made great strides to meet veterans' needs, to reach out to them, to, as you said, get their feedback. And now there's the Compact Act and there's the PACT Act. There's so many opportunities. So veterans, if you're not sure if you're eligible, if you're not sure if you should go there, reach out to us. We're happy to help you, and we'll give you that information toward the end. But yes, the Captain John D. Mason program is named after Captain John D. Mason. He served in Vietnam in the Marines, had a stellar military career. He received the Bronze Star with V device. When he got out, he married, had a family, was a very successful businessman for years and years. Jovial man, everyone came to him for advice and anything they needed. But in 2013, he had some financial distress. He had a back injury. And what came up is that all these years he had suffered silently with PTSD and depression, from much stemming from his time in Southeastern Asia. And he never had gone to the VA, never talked to anyone about this. No one ever knew about it, held everything inside. And when these other struggles in his life were happening, it was too much for him, and he died by suicide. But he did leave 5 suicide notes, one to his wife, one to each of his adult children, one to his best friend, lifelong friend, Joe Tate, and one to all 5. And he said, get me to the VA. It's too late for me. Stop someone else. So his best friend, Joe, went to the Medical College of Wisconsin and said, I need your help. and was very emotional, as you can imagine. And if you ever get an opportunity, please take a look at our Facebook page. Search the Captain John D. Mason Facebook page, and pinned at the top is Joe's letter. He's reading John Mason's letter, his best friend's letter. It's very emotional, but that's the whole reason we're here. So the medical college, along with the VA, realized that connecting with veterans is the best way to help them get into the VA or reach other resources. They have a language that no one else, understands, so.
Yeah, there's a lot to be said to what you just shared. And as veterans, we're taught basically just suck it up, mission first, keep going. And at what point do you finally stop and look at the health care or mental health care that you might need? So sharing that story is really an encouragement for all of us to consider that for our own self and also for others that we interact with. I appreciate you sharing that. Yeah, there's a lot of people out there that are hurting.
Mm-hmm.
And that led to another program there, Live Today and Put It Away.
Yep, absolutely. So our program is centered on suicide prevention, and our second focus came about as being part of the Southeastern Wisconsin Veteran Suicide Prevention Task Force. So we are promoting Wisconsin's Gunshot Project and Safe Storage program called Live Today, Put It Away. So that is where firearm retailers across the state of Wisconsin, as well as starting to have some law enforcement partners now, will provide voluntary, temporary, safe storage of a firearm to a veteran or any individual who may be in a temporary crisis. We do know that over 50% of suicides are not necessarily mental health illness, but more so someone's going through a temporary crisis. That could be they just found out they lost their job, or they're going through a divorce, or some legal trouble, or honestly just feeling hopeless and they don't even know why. So to give the opportunity to have some time and distance between lethal means can save a life. So when we do our outreach events, we definitely promote responsible firearm ownership, which is securing your firearm, not storing it with ammunition inside, locking it up. We recommend to have a gun lock. We give those out at our outreach events. You can get those from your VA, you can get those from a police department, or putting in a safe. So if you don't have those opportunities and you're going through something, you can, and you don't have maybe a friend or a family member who you want to share this information with, you can go to the www.betherewis.com website. We have our interactive map under the Live Today, Put It Away tab. You can find that local retailer nearest you and give them a call and say, I'd like you to hold my firearm. And then they'll hold it for you, whatever you decide, 1, 2, or 3 months. So it's a great program. We just recommend that people store their firearm responsibly. We provide firearm retailers with suicide prevention materials that were put together by the National Shooting Sports Foundation, who partnered with the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention, as well as materials from Safe Communities Madison-Dane County. We provide VA information. We provide the race suicide prevention training for retailers as well and their staff. So it's a great program to have available.
Wow, that's really impressive. That's right on target, so to speak. And I'm guessing that they probably don't report this arrangement of the safe storage, right?
They don't. The retailers will follow their FFL guidelines, so they will log the firearm in their logbook, similar to if they had someone bring their firearm in to service it for any reason. So they do have to log it in, but they don't report otherwise for this.
Awesome. So that can give a level of security as well, that it'll be confidential.
Correct.
And is there a cost associated with that, or no?
If there is a cost, it's generally minor. That it is up to the firearm retailer. Some will charge $5 or $10 a month. Some don't charge anything, but most do charge, simply because veterans generally do not like to have things for free. So most will charge $5 or $10 a month. So a very minimal cost for that security, to know that you've got some time and distance.
Very nice. Well, there's a lot of good information there, and I appreciate you sharing those websites too, that I know are loaded with lots of good resources. Now, before we run out of time, is there anything else that you'd like to share with us today?
I would just like to say to those listening, if you have a friend or a loved one, maybe who's going through a crisis, reach out to them. Ask them if they're really struggling, ask them if they've had thoughts of suicide. Ask them if they have a firearm, and if they do, ask them if it is secured safely. If not, suggest that they have someone hold it for them, or that they utilize the program. That individual can go to the website themselves, and call and set up an appointment to have someone hold it just temporarily. The other thought is, if any of our viewers know of a firearm retailer or a law enforcement partner who would like to be a part of this, please reach out to me and we'll be happy to contact them to get them on the map. Our goal is to have at least 2 firearm retailers in every county of the state.
Wow.
So that no one has to travel too far to utilize the service if they so choose.
Wow, that's really awesome. Well, thanks again for being here today, Susan. And thank you all for watching this. Please share this accordingly so that we can help save a life. I'm Diane Young, and this is our episode of Warrior Wisdom on Wellness. Be well.
Why is it important to ask questions when someone's going through a difficult time, such as, do you have any firearms? Safe storage of firearm for a loved one is critical to get them safely through a crisis period, and it is proven to save lives. Wisconsin Gun Shop Project and Safe Storage Program can help. You can scan the code in the graphic and get more information on this program. Remember, you can always call the Veterans Crisis Line at 988, then press 1 for immediate help.